two-day trip by President Duterte. You're part of the entourage, of course. And one big sticking point ahead of the trip, I understand, was whether or not both sides could agree to allow or let the President Duterte, talk about this Hague ruling, which I mentioned just a couple of seconds ago. And the Chinese weren't very keen on it. Can you tell us with some sort of certainty what actually the dialogue is going to be about when Presidents Xi and Duterte meet?
Good morning. Thank you for having me on your show. Well, we've had meetings with the Chinese leadership last night, and I would say the meetings lasted between 2.5 to 3 hours, which included a very pleasant dinner. Actually, I would characterize the meeting as one that's very cordial and one that focused on cooperation rather than conflict. And I think the leaders have emphasized that the relationships between China and the Philippines are larger than certain disagreements we have with regards to the West Philippine Sea or the South China Sea. So we're focused on cooperation, and as you mentioned earlier, we signed a $10 billion peso agreement, 220 million US dollars for financing of our railway project. We have signed cooperation agreements between our Bureau of Customs and the Bureau of Customs here in China. And we have signed agreements where we are able to access renminbi financing from ODA facilities in China. Oh. So it's really cooperation rather than conflict.
Okay. All right, so the focus was sort of the long game and very strategic. So is this also, Mr. Secretary, a sort of diplomatic way of telling me you guys had dinner, had some nice Chinese food, probably talked about basketball, but the South China Sea issue was not raised?
It was raised, and essentially the both sides have agreed that this is subject to further discussions in the future. You know, this problem has been on the table for at least the last 30 years. As you know, I was Minister of Agriculture in 1988, and I accompanied President Corazon Aquino here, and this matter was actually brought about by Deng Xiaoping. So this is a long-standing discussion, and we don't think that it can be solved overnight. But again, Philippines and China are working to build bridges, working to understand each other, building confidence on both sides so that we can move ahead in cooperation in the future.